Okay, greeting everyone and welcome to my presentation. It's my great pleasure to participate in this conference. I am Dian Jin from Faculty of Modern Language and Communication, University Putra, Malaysia. This research was completed by me and Dr. Wen Anita and Dr. Shafila. The topic of my study is Instagram users' parasocial interactions towards virtual and human influences, the mediating role of human likeness, perceived similarity, and wish for identification. All right, let's start with the introduction. Social media, like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, or Twitch, this kind of social media platform allow ordinary people to become influenced from home, and millions can access influence, making business competitive. And also with the growth of social media influence marketing has been growing rapidly. And recently, virtual influencers have emerged on social media. Virtual influence, what is virtual influence? Virtual influence is a kind of social media celebrities that appeared partially or fully artificial in nature. So, and they are presenting the similar type of content as real human influencers. Because of their popularity, many scholars study virtual influences. And parasocial interaction is one of the most central construct, also is the core issue of media psychology. And this study attempted to conduct research from the perspective of parasocial interaction of virtual influence. And regarding the issue of people's PSI level toward VI or HI, arguments exist on both sides of the specific nature of the reaction of human to a virtual agent in social media context. And as we can see here, some previous studies suggested that human-computer interaction shows the similar attribution to the human-to-human interaction. And some studies found that people engage differently depending on whether they believe they will interact with a computer or a human or non-human. So this study attempts to verify the differences of parasocial interaction on different influences, virtual influences and human influences, and the relevant mediate factors will be examined in this research. So based on problem statement, two research questions were proposed. RQ1, whether there are differences in parasocial interaction towards post of virtual and human influences. RQ2, what are the potential mediator behind Instagram users' parasocial interaction towards post of virtual influences and human influence? And corresponding research objectives were proposed. This is the literature review part, and as we can see, many scholars study virtual influences from the different perspective, but as a relative new concept, virtual influence was not extensively researched by academics. As we can see here, Stern and his colleagues focus on parasocial interaction issue of virtual influence and examine the mediate variables of parasocial interaction of virtual and human influences in streaming platforms, include YouTube and Twitch, this kind of streaming platform. To expand their study, this research will focus on Instagram platform, which is also a very popular social media platform, not just towards among social media users, but also influencers, virtual influencers. Based on RQ1, H1 was proposed. H1 hypothesis 1. Parasocial interactions with human influences will be stronger than parasocial interaction with virtual influences. And here comes the RQ2. What are the potential mediators behind Instagram users' parasocial interaction towards posts of virtual influence and human influence? And here comes two hypotheses. The mediate role of visual human likeness, mental human likeness, perceived similarity, wish for identification. The mediate role of these four factors will be examined. So based on the hypothesis proposed, the conceptual framework was proposed. So as we can see here, the differences of parasocial interaction with VI and HI will be tested, and also for mediators will be tested. And this is the research. This is research flow paradigm. And this research conduct an online experimental and questionnaire method. And the procedure will be, as we can see, it started with stimulus materials and questionnaire making. Then it goes to pilot test, reliability and validity check, questionnaire revise, questionnaire distribution, and data collection. Then finally it goes to data analysis. The data analysis mainly include two methods: independent virtuous t-test and a process Markov for SPSS, using for test the mediator role of four factors mentioned previously. So this is the examination of stimulus materials. Leo Miquela as virtual influence and Marta Segan as a human influence will be selected as the research objective, and also from this will be the results of stimulus material. Leo Miquela and Marta Segan are considered influencers with highly similar attributes and attract a similar audience in Instagram, and they should similar styles and personas with notable difference in whether they are real human or not. So the similar materials will be added by Photoshop. Participants were randomly exposed to one of them. So this is the questionnaire measurements. All measures were present with the 5-point Likert scale, and variables include PSI, parasocial interaction, visual human likeness, mental human likeness, perceived similarity, visual identification. Will be included. These four factors will be included in the questionnaire, and totally 38 items will be used in the questionnaire. This is the overview of the questionnaire. All the items were referred from previous study with necessary adjustment. Okay, so as we can see here, the software used include SPSS and a process Markov for SPSS. And two analysis methods were used: independent virtuous t-test and the process model 4. And this is the result of the research of the data analysis. The results show that there's a difference on users' perceived PSI, VHI, MHI, PS, WI towards virtual influence and human influence. All of them were higher. Users perceived higher PSI, VHI, and these factors towards human influences than virtual influences. And the result of mediate factor test shows that MHI and WI have a negative mediate effect on the relationship between influence type and parasocial interaction. However, visual human likeness and visual perceived similarity on their mediate role was not significant. So this is discussion part. The result demonstrate that both include comparative PSM value. MHI and WI exert a substantial mediate impact. However, VHI and PS were ineffective as mediator, which means VHI and PS were not significant, have no significant mediate effects. The results showed that human-computer interaction had a different contribution than human-to-human interaction had. So the results support the interpersonal theory and the UV hypothesis, and also support the related previous study. So this is the final part. Limitation and future research. Future research can consider some other platforms like Facebook or Pinterest, which is also very very popular platform, not only for social media users but also virtual influencers. And the future research can also consider long-term impact, not only current PSI, but also on PSR, parasocial relationship, which means the long-term relationship in general, parasocial relationship in general. And also future research can consider focused on novelty effect, how the novelty effect influences the parasocial interaction and other related factors. Last but not least, richer content, like rather than the brief poster photos. As we can see, this research only used two screenshot as the student material, and some other content, maybe not just some, maybe some more photos or pictures, or even the video material can be used as the student material. So richer content can be considered by future research. So to acquire a deeper knowledge of contemporary events, it will also be important to examine a diverse sample, such as these categories by, like this include some demographic factors, including age, cultural background, or area of interest, where the majority of present study participants were young, media-savvy individuals having varied degrees of experience with the environment in hand. It may be worthwhile to examine the responses of people or devoted followers who are entirely unfamiliar with the effect of social media. So it seems to reason that research of this kind of things would benefit immensely by including participants of varied age, since the younger generation, including Gen Z and millennials, this kind of generation is typically more comfortable with the digital technology, and some also some older generation can also be considered by future research. Okay, that's all of my presentation. Thank you for listening. Thank you. Terima kasih.